Hey there, welcome to Treadmill Review Guru. Today we're going to take a look at the NordicTrack X32i. This is NordicTrack's premier incline trainer. So it is a large treadmill, does not fold up, but it provides a 40% incline, declines to a -6, has a 12 mile per hour max speed and a 4.2 horsepower motor. So let's dive in and take a closer look at everything this machine can do. So let's take a look real quick at some of the features of the X32i so that we can specify who it's best for. Now, as I mentioned, this is a big machine. It takes up a sizable footprint. It is 76 inches long, 40 inches wide, and 73 inches high. It also has a step-up height of 15 inches, and when that deck is fully inclined, it lifts to about 34 inches off the floor. So you've got to make sure that you have enough room around your treadmill and enough ceiling clearance. So we recommend this for people who have enough room. If you've got a limited space, this might not work because it does have a pretty good footprint. Also, I love the fact that this has reflex cushioning. That cushioning is just nice and abundant. You can really feel it underfoot as you're walking. So this is great for anyone who needs impact control. If you have joint issues, mobility issues, you're looking for something where you can really incline that deck and get a high calorie burn but stay low impact, this is a great option. It's also really good for people who love tech, right? Look at this touchscreen, it's amazing. And the videography in iFit is really impressive. So if you're looking for video content, you're willing to pay for a subscription, this is a great option for you. The X32i probably isn't best for people, as I mentioned, who have limited space. That's something to be aware of. Also, we do not recommend it if you don't plan to continue the subscription. Because the screen is the main focus of the console, you really want to enjoy and appreciate that iFit content. And you can't watch Netflix, you can't watch a TV, the news, access the web, things like that. The touchscreen really is just designed to showcase iFit. So if you don't plan to use it, we probably recommend looking for a machine that doesn't have a screen that's quite that large. Simply so you're paying for features you will use. One other thing we do want to mention is because of that cushioning in the deck, it can get just a touch bouncy over 9 miles an hour. So people who tend to run really fast, like to do sprints or consistently run faster than about a 640 mile, may want to test it out and try it first to make sure it's not too bouncy for you. All right, so let's take a look at the construction. One thing that I love about this machine is that it is very stable. Because it's not designed to fold up, the whole base is all steel. So these uprights are powder-coated steel, your support beams are steel, and you have 3 cross beams that go directly underneath the machine. So it sits very sturdy on your floor. You'll notice too that the uprights are slightly curved. That's a different design than you'll see on a standard treadmill, where those arms are usually kind of straight, holding the console. The uprights on this are curved, and what that does is it shifts the console back farther on the above the deck so that you can use the full length of that track, which I really like. The other thing is you'll notice there's literally no motor hood. There's just a little plastic cover here at the top where the belt wraps around the front of that deck, but you have an elongated running surface here. So it's 65 inches long by 22 inches wide. So that's about the longest that we see on a residential treadmill like this. You've got plenty of room. I do have it inclined, so this is as high as it goes. Kind of just to give you an idea of how far that will lift up off the ground. So this is that 40% incline, and then it will decline to a -6. The 2021 model has included a new incline motor. So if you look really closely, you can see the incline is navigated by this motor here in the center that will lift and pivot the deck. It is noticeably quieter and much faster. So I tested it, and inclining from a flat grade all the way up to 40 just took like 21 seconds. To drop took the exact same amount of time, 21 seconds. And then if I had it set at level 0 and inclined it to a 10, it took like 5 seconds. So it's very fast, but it's very stable. It's not like you feel imbalanced when you're up on that on that track. Just hold on. You don't even need to hold on, but you always have the option of the handrails. And it's quieter. So we'll demo that for you in a little bit, but that is a significant upgrade that we really appreciate on the 2021 model. The other thing I love about the X32i is that the plug does not come out of the top of the machine. Because it inclines so high, this is all clear up here. Instead, your plug emerges from the side of the machine. So your switch is over here and the plug is kind of here at the base. And that design really makes sense. There are wheels. So you can see you've got wheels right here. They don't connect with the floor unless you pivot the machine, and then you can lift and roll it if you need to. Now, this machine weighs over 400 pounds. So we estimate it's about 410 to 415 pounds. So it's heavy. Also, if I do grab this bar down here, I can lift it, engage those wheels, and roll it if I need to. So it's heavy. We don't recommend moving it regularly, but you can shift it, move it just a touch every now and again if you need to. Unlike typical treadmills, where the motor is in the front, so the weight is on that end, which allows the end of the deck to tip up, the motor on this is actually in the back. So you've got a 4.25 horsepower motor back here, which leaves extra space at the top of the deck so that you don't have that motor hood. So that's one feature that I like as well. Your side rails are wide, textured, and gently angled. So if I stand up there, it's an easy stand on either side. If that belt's moving, I have plenty of space on those side rails, and they don't really get slick. Sometimes the side rails can get slick on some of these machines, but this one has good texture. So the other thing with the X32i is your rollers are down here at the base of the deck on the top of the deck. And the roller actually moves the belt along. And most of the time on a treadmill, you don't think much about the rollers, you don't know much about the rollers, but they actually make a difference. So this machine has 2.5-inch rollers, which means that they're larger and they have more surface area. So they really grab that belt and move it along very smoothly. So there's not as much friction, it's a smoother feel underfoot, and the belt lasts longer. So that's another thing to be aware of. This is a nice thick belt, nicely textured, doesn't slip, and it's easy to adjust. So you can keep it nice and in a line. As I mentioned, the machine weighs just over 400 pounds. It will support up to 300 pounds. So we have different reviewers in our office that range from me, I'm 5'5" and about 125 pounds, to Matthew, who's 6'5" and 230 pounds. And we have all tested the machine and it supports different weights very comfortably. So we can all run on it, and it's not like it's suited better for a specific size of person. It works really well if you're tall because you have that expanded length. But even though I'm not a huge person, I really just enjoy the roomy feel on the X32i. So your top speed is 12 miles an hour, which is pretty standard. And as I mentioned, you do have the 40% incline and the -6% decline. So one thing we wanted to include in our new reviews was an overview of assembly. Because COVID has changed things for all of us so much, assembly is not available as a service like it used to be. So right now, most companies don't offer assembly. Consequently, most buyers are putting things together themselves. So we get a lot more questions about assembly. Interestingly, the more expensive treadmills are easier to put together than the lower end models. There's a few reasons for that. The main one being most of it comes pre-assembled. So on a budget treadmill or a compact treadmill, you have to attach the uprights, and then you have to attach the console onto the uprights, and then you have to attach the handlebars. On this, the console comes pre-attached to the uprights. So it's all one big piece, and it's just set on top of that deck. So all you have to do is attach the uprights to the steel base and then attach the handrails, or your handles. So it's actually easier than a lot of other machines. We recommend having 2 people because you do have to have one person kind of stabilize it while the other person screws things in. Also, I can put a lot of things together myself, but because this is such a large, heavy machine, I recommend having somebody that has the arm strength to really be able to get those screws nice and tight. I'll put a lot of things together, but I tend to have the bigger guys help me with this one. So That's a few things. It comes with tools, but if you have like a sturdy screwdriver, your own set of Allen wrenches, and maybe just a regular standard wrench set, you'll be set. So NordicTrack covers the X32i with a 10-year warranty on the frame and motor, which is impressive. You also get 2 years on parts and 1 year on labor. Okay, so here you can see this lovely 32-inch touchscreen. I have an iFit video running here. This is on location in Switzerland, just kind of a trail run through the mountains. So the videography is really impressive. The graphics are very clear, and the instructors are interesting. They kind of talk to you. They'll provide information about local culture, climate, geography, architecture, things like that. So it makes it really fun when you're on location with them because they provide that backstory. So let me demo the volume. Now on here you have a couple different options for volume. You have master volume, and then you have trainer volume, and then you also have the music volume. Now you can turn your music volume up so it matches trainer, or you can turn the music volume down if you don't want very much music and just hear the trainer. And then the master volume will increase.
Any higher than that.
It'll increase whatever balance you set. So I'll turn it up right here.
So another way that you can gauge that is by assessing your breathing. You should be able to easily breathe right now. You should be able to breathe.
So you can see you got a lot of volume there. So you can listen to the music if you don't really care to hear all the details of the run, or you can listen to the instructor. You'll notice over here on the left, you have all of your incline buttons. So the -6, -3, and then it just kind of increases by 3 as you go up to the highest level of 40. And over here you have all your speeds from 1 to 12. Your lowest possible speed is 0.5 miles an hour. So if I hit any lower than that, it'll stop the class, and you can go up to 12 miles an hour. So you got a lot of speed options. These just jump you by 1 metric. So if I want to turn it to a speed of 7, I hit 7. Now, if I want to hit 7.7 miles an hour, I hit that twice. So let's say I want to go to 5.6 miles an hour. I hit the 5 and the 6 really quick together, and that will get me to a very specific speed. Let's say I want to go to 4.7 miles an hour. Okay, so if you hit 2 buttons really quickly consecutively, it'll jump you to that speed. You also have the option down here. Your manual speed buttons will increase or decrease by 0.1, so 4.4, 4.3, 4.2, that sort of a thing. I'll drop it back down just so it's a little quieter. On the incline, your incline preset buttons will jump you to that specific incline. And then if you want to adjust manually, it will change it by 0.5. So from 1 to 1.5 to 2. So your manual incline gives you a little bit more targeted, as does the speed. So that's kind of your control options. The screen does tilt. So you can see you can drop it down, you can push it up to make sure you've got good visibility for different sized users and you don't have overhead glare. And you also do have your uprights, which are really nice, especially if you're at that incline, to just hold on while you're inclined really high. So let's take a look at the whole console layout. So you can see the touchscreen is on the top, and you can get rid of that metric bar if you want, just to see the full screen. But then your control panel is down here. Now, my only complaint with the X32i is this control panel can at times feel a little low. The -6 is all the way down here in the corner, kind of behind the bar. Same with 1 mile per hour. And because the bar angles up, I have to reach underneath it to adjust on that lower panel. It's not a big deal, but it is something that occasionally will be just slightly inconvenient. So you have your speakers down here, and as I demonstrated, they have good sound. And you do have 2 fans in there, and you can adjust the direction of the fan up or down. So let me turn that on for you real quick. So your fan speed will be displayed up here. You have low, medium, high, and then auto is going to match your pace. So because I've got the speed set really low, the auto is low, and then if I hit it again, it'll just go off. So you can control your fan down here on the control panel, but then it shows up on the screen. You also have your start, stop button and your safety key, as well as your manual volume controls, and then speed is on the right. Now, the controls are automated in iFit. So whenever you start a program, it will automatically match the speed and the incline of the natural terrain. So because I've adjusted it so that I could slow it down, you can see down here the follow trainer icon. If I hit that, then it's going to go back to the auto feature. So it's going to increase the speed, and it dropped the deck just a little because he's working on a decline. Now, if at any point I adjust anything, then that follow trainer icon is going to show back up. You can adjust speed and incline separately. So you can manually control your speed and the incline will stay automated, or you can manually control incline and your speed will stay automated, which is really nice. It doesn't override both of them if you adjust one. So that's one thing. And then iFit has upgraded their operating system so that you now have the option of connecting to an audio device. So you can connect wireless headphones. I've got mine right here. They're not turned on, so they're not going to connect. But once you connect once, it will automatically bring them up next time. So you can connect wirelessly to your headphones, which is really nice. So as I mentioned, the screen does tilt, and you have quite a nice little ledge here. Because the screen is so large, if you wanted to set a phone there, even an iPad or something like that, you'd have plenty of room on that ledge. But there isn't specifically a place to place your phone anywhere else. So like on the X32i, you've got little iPhone phone kind of cup on the one side. On this, you don't have that because the screen takes up everything. So this little ledge is kind of your only place to set something. So that's something to be aware of. The only other thing that I don't love about this is that your water bottle holders are back behind the screen. And because the screen is angled just a little bit, even my just blender bottle doesn't sit flat. It kind of sits crooked. So if I run, it's gonna rattle a little. So it's kind of a minor thing, but it is just a little bit inconvenient to have them back there, back behind the screen. Okay, so a few things to be aware of on the 2021 model. They have made some significant upgrades to the console system. So it now has an Android 9 operating system. And we've noticed it's just a little faster, a little more responsive. It also has better Wi-Fi connectivity. So it has a faster processor, better Wi-Fi, updated Android screen, and improved graphics. And you do have the option to connect wireless headphones, which is also an upgrade that we really like. Okay, so here we are. I've inclined to the deck. This is the full 40% incline, so you can see how high it lifts me. Just one thing to be aware of, I have 9-foot ceilings in here. So 8 feet is gonna come down close to the top of my head. So that is just something that, make sure that you have enough room. 8 foot will provide clearance, 9 foot will give you a little more span. So I'm just gonna start a program. I'm gonna drop this down to about a 20 incline, just so I'm about halfway up. So I'm just at 1 mile an hour, level 20 incline. So I'm going to take it up to 2 miles an hour. Once you get to these steeper grades, it requires you to modify your pace a little bit. So for me, on a flat road, my walking pace is about 3.3 miles an hour. Up here, when I incline above like 15, then I have to slow it down closer to 2 miles an hour just to be able to maintain my pace at that level of incline. So right now I'm at a 2 mile an hour pace and a 20 incline. I'm going to increase it to 3. So you can see that deck gives just a little bit underfoot, has some nice cushioning. It's very quiet. All right, I'm going to drop it down to a level 10. And do a quick jog, maybe 6 miles an hour. So just kind of watch for that cushioning, listen to the noise. So one other feature that this has is you have the horizontal grip bar and the sled push bars. So you can drop that deck all the way down to a flat incline and keep it at 1 mile an hour. And then you can use those bars to support your upper body while you push the track with your feet. So you just kind of get that sled push exercise. Taller people have the option of these higher handles. You can't completely disengage the belt from the motor. And you can't do the sled push at anything other than a flat grade and 1 mile an hour. So as you can see, there's a lot of things that are really impressive on the NordicTrack X32i. I love this machine. It's very comfortable. I personally appreciate the size and length of that deck. Even though I'm not a super tall person, I just feel like it makes such a difference that it's so roomy. You also have plenty of span both below and in between those handrails so that you've got lateral width as well. The 4.25 horsepower motor will support pretty much any training. So if you want to do longer distances, if you have multiple users, if you like to do sprints and other high intensity work, this machine will support you just fine. I also love that 32-inch touchscreen. It's just amazing, and iFit has really just improved by leaps and bounds with their videography and their content. They're constantly adding more classes. When I watch a video, it feels like a movie, like you've got landscape shots and drone shots and different angles of the instructor, and it just really is engaging and pulls you in. So I feel like not only does this have a nice touchscreen, but the content is impressive as well. You can get a lot of varied training on this. So this would be a machine that you could use instead of a gym membership, because it also has strength training off the treadmill, boot camp classes that are half on, half off. You've got yoga, conditioning, like recovery classes, even TED Talks, things like that. So you can get just full body overall conditioning with the machine and the content. One thing to be aware of is just the size. You know, for some people, this machine is just going to be too big. If you've got low ceilings, we recommend a minimum of 8 feet. That's something to consider. So for a detailed written review, make sure and check us out at treadmillreviewguru.com. For current pricing, click the link below. And as always, we would love to hear what you think. Leave a comment or suggestion down in the comments. I'm Kristen with Treadmill Review Guru, and we'll see you again soon.